So MSTY and the rest of the market was doing pretty good for most part of the day. It was actually moving up. And then at 3:30 today, it just fell. So we'll take a look at that. And the diversified ETFs for YieldMax announced their distributions today. And those would contain ULTI, YieldMax, YMAG, and so forth. And also, the YieldMax website got an update. Hello, my friends, this is Legend. So today, we've got a lot to cover. The market was moving up quite nice today, actually. We're looking at MSTY right now, but if I look at SPY here, the S&P 500, as you can see, it was moving up, right? We did come down at the first part, but then it was moving up and it just kept moving up, right? We were back up around that 665, and then at around 3:30 today, it just fell. And on SPY, it fell from roughly that 665 all the way back down to 662. Man, it just fell like it fell off of a cliff all of a sudden. And you can see here on MSTY, it was the same way. It was moving up, moving up, moving up, kind of going sideways, and then all of a sudden, boom, the big fall. And again, right there at that 3:30. And you can see Mr. same way, right? 3:30 and then fall. And you can see even on Broadcom, same thing, 3:30 and then fall. So this was not just YieldMax or MSTY or any of those. This was the market. And as you can see here on the screen, looks like we've got some more news that is causing the market to drop. And just like last time, how long will it last? It may be just for that moment. And again, this may last for a little while longer. But not going to get into the politics of stuff, but I just wanted to let you know that this could be one of the reasons why we had that drop. And it seemed to have happened around that 3:30 today. So I was super excited because right up to about 1 o'clock or so, we were all the way back up to 1334 on MSTY. So I was excited about that. But then the news hit and we started coming down, and then we dropped right along with the rest of the market as well. So the news does affect the stocks. It can bring them down, but I'm hoping that it's just short term. But only time will tell. So also today, they did announce the distributions, and also they gave the YieldMax website a facelift. But before we get into that, if you enjoy this type of content, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button. And also, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you know when new videos drop. So now let's just go ahead and check out the facelift on the YieldMax website. All right, so here we are on the YieldMax website. Now, isn't this fancy, right? Definitely did a complete facelift. They've also added quite a few new things to it. I like it. My only negative thing to say about it would be I wouldn't mind it if they would just remove all of the moving colors, right? Because that can distract you when you're trying to read what's on the screen. Your eyes keep getting focused onto the moving parts versus trying to read what's along the top up here. But we'll go ahead and quickly go through this, and I won't go into too much detail, but I just wanted to show you where everything was now. So under our ETFs here, they now have the single stock ETFs, and the one good thing is they're all in alphabetical order, and it goes from left to right to each row. So when you're trying to find a certain ETF, you don't have to scroll through the whole thing trying to find out where it is because it was not in alphabetical order, but now it is. So it's easier to find. You want to find MSTY? It's pretty simple. You go right here to the M's, boom, there it is, MSTY, right? You also have your shorts right here. You have your fund of funds, which is your YMAG, YMAX. You have your Ultra, which is Salty and Alti. The Dorsey Wrights, Feet and Fivey. The 0 DTE ETFs. you have your portfolio ETFs, and then you have your target 12s right here. So I do like this layout, and they are clickable. So you can click on it and it'll take you straight to that page. Now, the next one here is distributions. And if we click distributions, you can go right down here is your target 12. This is group 1. And in group 1, that's the diversified ETFs. And that was the previous weekly ones like your LevG, Ulti, YMAG, YMAX, and such. All those are in group 1. Then you scroll on down and there's the payout dates for group 2. And the group 2 is all the single stock ETFs like MSTY, GUI, Platy, Coney, and such. Then scrolling on down, you can see right here is the groupings. And you can see they've even labeled them out for you. So in group 1, like I said, was the previous weeklies along with FEET and FIVE. Okay? And then group 2 is all the other single stock ETFs. Okay? So they're all under group 2. Today, group 1 announced their distributions. And tomorrow, group 2 will announce their distributions. So I'm excited about tomorrow because I am excited to see what MSTY will pay out. Now scrolling back up to the top up here, under the education button here, you can see that they do have a couple downloadable PDFs for you if you are not familiar with covered call strategies. They have the basic covered call, and then they've got the enhanced covered call strategy, which is using the credit spreads. So you can download those PDFs and you can look into that on your own. They seem to have a couple videos here as well that you can watch talking about the YieldMax strategy and such. And scrolling back to the top, you can click on news here, and the news button, you can scroll down and look what they're also giving you. They're giving you all the distribution sheets right here on the site. Now to get those sheets the day of, you do have to sign up to get that email. But if you wanted to look at past distributions for any of them, they are all right here. As you can see, the last one they've got here is on October 8th. And when you click it, it will pull up the YieldMax ETF announcement distribution sheets. And there's all those payouts from last week. So that's kind of neat, right? It's all right there at your fingertips. They do have an FAQ here, and you can go through these and see if there's anything in there that may answer some of your questions that you may have. Now, maybe they had this before, but I didn't notice if they did, but now they have a merch, right? So even YieldMax has merch now. And you can get anything from shirts to hats. It looks like cups and coats and everything else. You can check that out if that interests you. And then they've got now a Europe tab, right? And it looks like they're now going to be available in Europe. So you can sign up for the alerts for that as well. So if you're in the Europe area and you want to get more information, looks like you can sign up right here off the website under the Europe tab. And of course, the Stay Connected button here, that is where you'll learn and be notified as soon as things are announced. And also things that are coming, right? So you can go to the website and fill this out and get those notifications, news, and other updates as well. So now let's just go ahead and let's go check out to see what we're all been waiting for. I know I have been. And let's just see what they're going to pay out for the diversified ETFs. All right, so now let's check out the distributions for the diversified ETFs on YieldMax. And this will be group 1, as we were showing on the website there. And this is all the previous weekly payers, right? So this is for group 1. The X date is tomorrow, October 15th. The payout date will be Thursday, October 16th. So these ones in group 1 will pay out on Thursday. And group 2, which is the single stock ETFs, those will pay out on Friday like we're normally used to. So in a way, now we'll get paid out twice a week, Thursday and Friday. I like that. So let's just go ahead and move on and see what we're going to get paid out. So here we are. We'll start right here off with Chippy. And Chippy is going to pay out 40 cents. And that's a 37% distribution rate. Very nice for Chippy. It's been pretty steady with payouts around that 40-cent range. Then we've got Feet. Now, Feet is not showing a distribution rate. Not sure why, and maybe it's a typo, but Feet seems to not have a distribution rate. I know they're supposed to be part of this group, but I really don't know what to say about that. And it looks like 5e is the same way. So maybe we'll hear something as the week goes, but I guess technically we're never really guaranteed a payout. So until we hear other information about that, we'll just leave it and move on. GPTY, 31 cents. That's a 34% distribution rate. That's a pretty good distribution rate too, right? I mean, that's 31 cents a week. Very nice. LevG, 58 cents for an 80% distribution rate. Now, I know you guys out there with LevG are quite excited about that. That's a very nice distribution rate for just the week. QDTY, 24 cents. Then we have RDTY with 26 cents. SDTY with 14 cents. SLTY with 46 cents. And that's a 60% distribution rate. Now, SLTY will do good as long as the market is coming down, but I would think once we move to more of an up market or a bull market, I'm not sure how well SLTY will do, since it does short that Ultra Fund. And the reverse side of that one is Ulti, and it pays out, surprise, surprise, 9 cents. But that is an 87% distribution rate. I'll take that constant 9 cents. I'm sure you will too. YMAG, 20 cents. Whoa, that's a 68% distribution rate. Very nice for YMAG. A whole lot better than what it's been, right? That's 20 cents for the week. You gotta love that. And last, check out YMax with 17 cents. That's a 71% distribution rate. Nice, right? 17 cents for YMax. And since it does pretty much contain a lot of the other YieldMax ETFs to be a little bit more diversified, right, than just the single ETFs. So I do still like YMax. And at 17 cents for the distribution, I'll take that. Now I have a couple for RoundHill and Defiance, so stick around and let's go ahead and check those out real quick. And here we are on Defiance. And for Defiance, the X date will be tomorrow on the 15th, and it will pay out on Thursday the 16th. And we'll start right here off with AMDU. And this is off of AMD. We'll pay 57 cents for a week. Wow. ETHI, and that's off of the Ethereum for 23 cents. HIMY, it's off of HIMS for 46 cents. HOOI, using Hood for the underlying, to pay out 33 cents. And MST, which uses MSTR, will get 12 cents. Next, we have PLT, which uses the underlying PLTR, for 26 cents. SMCC, which uses SMCI, for 37 cents. QLDY is going to pay out 19 cents. So as you can see, all of these are leveraged ETFs versus the YieldMax, they are not leveraged. Okay? So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to compare the two. For example, MST versus MSTY, right? Because MST for YieldMax will be going weekly. So we'll be able to actually compare those two and see which one seems to be outperforming the other. On an up market, I would think MST should outperform it being leveraged. But of course, if it does come down, then MST is going to get hit a little harder than MSTY. So now let's move over to the RoundHill. And here we are on RoundHill. Now you can see they also have the X date of tomorrow and payout for Thursday. And this is their Bitcoin cover call strategy of YBTC for 38 cents. And for Ether will be YETH, and that's going to pay out 34 cents. So overall, I feel like we are getting out some pretty good distributions this week for YieldMax, along with Defiance and RoundHill. So what do you think? Are you excited about the weekly payers, especially for the ones that were single ETFs for YieldMax, as they will be going weekly starting this week? I'm very curious to see how it's going to work. Now, keep in mind, this week will be a little bit confusing because a lot of them are not going to be just for a week. I would think that your Group C will be for 4 weeks, Group D will be for 3 weeks, and Group A will be for 2 weeks. And of course, Group B will be 1 week. And then after this payout, the following week, everything should be in line for just a 1 week trading period. And we'll see how that actually shakes out at that point. Now, I imagine it's going to take a few weeks or even a few months to really understand how it's all going to work out and to hopefully get a little bit more stability in those payouts. But we'll see how it all works in the end. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and smash the like button if you would. It does help the channel out. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, Legend out.